Hi, this is going to be broken down into several different films because I don't want to bore you with a long one, but it's for the members, all the members of the organisation TIAE, Takemusu, Iwama, Aikido, Europe, that I'm now currently the sole head of, and recently I've been sending out a letter asking people's opinions on the way forward. It's brought in a response, and these films are my way of being in touch with everybody to let you know how I see the decision that I've made that will be told to you in the ongoing films. I'd like to just briefly tell those who haven't got my book my history really. You may find it boring, you may know it, but I'd like to just pass it through. I didn't take on the art of Aikido willingly. It was done because I was a young motor mechanic and I was working for myself in a small wooden shed, and it held a mini and a half. One half of the mini was outside in all the weathers, and if I needed to work on the front half then I was okay. If I had to work on the back half, obviously I'd turn the car round. The floor didn't last long. It was a wooden floor in this lean-to shed, and it soon gave way after a lot of use of jacking up and just being rotten. So the floor became really just a cinder dirt floor, and I would lay on this. But I was young, and at the age of 23 I was working for myself in this place, and outside a van broke down on the main road, and I was part of a main garage. I rented this shed off the main garage that done MOTs and other various repairs, and it had several mechanics in there. This particular day they couldn't see to the person and they sent them to me, and I went down there, and it was just a normal painter and decorator working for someone. He didn't have any money, but he said that his boss would come round and pay me later. So I got him going, fixed the problem, and it's strange. It's almost 50 years since I started Aikido. This September coming in 2023 will be 50 years, will be the month I started. I fixed the van, and I still remember to this day they had an electronic old point system where these things used to open and close, causing a spark for the engine to run, and they'd become closed up, and it stopped. How can I go back 50 years and remember this small detail? Some things are important to remember and some things are not, and that's what I want to talk about today. I've purposely put myself in this room in our house to show you the picture in the background. Hate is a bad word, isn't it? And I don't think I hate anybody or anything, but I really dislike this picture. And yet my Jane, she loves it. It's one of we've got around about 100 pictures dotted around the house in all sizes, and this is one of her favourites. And the whole point is, if you can see in the background, it says pain, made in pain. They've painted out the S. It's up to you whether you've seen this picture or not, before or not, and it doesn't really matter to me. What does matter to me is the point I want to make. I love her dearly, and I put up with the pictures that she likes that I don't like. It's not that I don't look at them, but I look at them and I wonder why anybody would want a picture like that, rather than a pleasant scenery, or even, two lovers painted in a nice grip, romantic one, or a scenery view, or something that brings happiness rather than this, what I consider, violent picture. You see, the world is full of good and bad, and we have to put up with it. And Aikido's no different. I recently heard from a student around the world that this year, there's normally around about 23 to 25 Russian senior black belt students attend a particular seminar in Europe. And this year, because of the war in Ukraine, they're not able to attend. Well, we know the reasons why they can't attend, but what made me stand back, and it didn't faze the person telling me, but it has really quite affected myself. They said that these black belt teachers, who at least can't come but can have contact, they found that almost all of them were in agreement with the war in Ukraine. For me, this is not what Aikido should be telling you. This is not what O-sensei said. O-sensei changed his art after the Second World War. This is, by the way, not a war or whose sides wins. It's about our organisation in Europe. But I just want to clarify that O-sensei changed his art after the Second World War because he wanted to make it joyful, and he wanted it to bring love and harmony to the Japanese people. At the time, he didn't talk about the world. That grew when the Hombu Dojo in Tokyo was created, and his son Kishimura Yoshiba started teaching there and made it into like a worldwide enterprise. And Aikido hopefully would spread out through the world, bringing people together in love and harmony. So O-sensei's hopes and wishes would get out, but so I find this very disturbing, and I'm sure it's not just the Russian senseis, the black belts and that, who feel that it's right to kill others. But what a disgraceful thing when I've spent all this time trying to hone my personal self, become a better person, and not the person I used to be, egotistic and only thinking of myself. O-sensei's Aikido has done this and helped me become a better person. I've had more hobbies than most of you listening to me, and it's not a bit, it will sound like ego, me throughout these films. But what I'm going to try and explain to you is, are we doing O-sensei's art as he hoped? Or have we changed it to the point where it's creating a bigger ego than ever, just because we can dominate, we can control people if we're a teacher, we run a club and we are the boss of those students. Many teachers, they think they own the students. It's a little bit like Russia wanting to own Ukraine, bring it back into the fold. The people are insignificant, kill as many as you like. This is not Osensi's art. Anyhow, I'm diverting, but I want you to realise that we're all different. Every one of you listening to me now will have different views on Aikido. Your techniques will look different to onlookers. They will be the same techniques as we're all doing, but they will look different. One of my senior students said that when they came to a seminar with over 200 attendees on a Saito seminar, Sensei asked us to stack piles of tatami together so that we were about 2 feet higher, let's say half a metre higher than the rest of the tatami, and it was against the wall. And he made there was 3 of us, I believe, but we were all seniors. We were all top students of Saito Sensei. And we were all having to do the 31 Joe Carter in time with each other. We couldn't see each other, but because of the years of training, we pretty much know the timing we have to do it in. His statement was, I looked at all 3 of you one by one, and not one of you looked the same. Why is that? I was quite taken back by this, because I would expect to be looking exactly the same as these 2 people. I'll try not to make names, even though names are coming into my head. I'll try not to say names throughout the films. But they're, you know, one's a 7th Dan now, one was a 5th Dan, I was a 5th Dan. I think they were a 6th Dan at the time, the other person. Anyhow, the point is, it's because we are individuals. The form is the same. The skis would have been the same. The whole 31 count kata would have been a 31 count kata if someone was just watching one of us. You imagine how Saito Sensei looks at 250 people doing the 31 count kata. There'll be 250, 251, however many that is, different 31 count katas, because we are individuals and you are an individual. You must make your own decisions in life, however hard they are. You'll have to put up with things that you don't like and not just accept the things you do like. Thank you for listening. The next film will come along shortly.